Apply today.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Join us for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event to witness documentation and learn how you can earn double-digit interest returns like many of our Crash Proof clients with none of the pitfalls of investing on the market.
Roseanne Fitzgerald, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. With Crash Proof, we earn 20% interest, which is credited. What we've earned can never be taken away.
Marilyn Becker's, Malvern, Pennsylvania. The 13% and 20% returns we received this year gets added to the principal. There's no fees, and you can sleep at night. You can't get that on Wall Street.
Paul Wirtz. I'm from Philadelphia. I earned 24% this year. No matter what happens in the future, this year or next year, I know that my principal is protected, my retirement is secure.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn, January 22nd, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, a live call-in show airing every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on WPHT. What would you do to protect yourself this cold and flu season? Well, medical hydration therapy at Innovative Medical Associates could help to boost your immune system. That's because vitamin C and other key nutrients are delivered intravenously right to your cells. Medical hydration therapy may even lessen symptoms should you become ill with a virus or suffer with long COVID or post-COVID conditions. Dr. Molly Fantasia at Innovative Medical Associates prescribes a personalized treatment plan for every patient.
We are a medical facility. We treat our IV protocols or our hydration protocols as a medical modality.
Learn more about the benefits of medical hydration therapy at innovativemedicalassociates.com. And be sure to join Dr. Molly and me on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Pete is on the hot seat. We'll get to that in just a moment. And this as incoming President Donald J. Trump is, of course, under fire by the media, locally, nationally, taking pot shots. As we learn more about the big inauguration, hope you join us, obviously, at the NAC, as we're going to be there reporting, broadcasting live all day next Monday. So for the big inaugural, but we're learning more, and we'll get into this. Carrie Underwood, she's under fire, of course, now because she says it's a great honor. She's a patriot, and she will be singing among the others. Lee Greenwood, of course, Christopher Macchio, all set to perform during Trump's inauguration festivities. We have some great audio of Melania Trump, incoming First Lady, and her Be Best initiative, and I will slam some of the so-called mainstream media, what they're saying about that. Gosh, it just gets on my nerves, on my last nerve. We'll get into immigration. Tom Homan, you'll hear all about that. And Butler, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you had known about this, but we just learned within the past 12, 20 hours that first responders from Butler County, Pennsylvania, the site of the first assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump during the presidential campaign, of course, and they played a pivotal role, right, in his run for the White House. Well, we're learning now that many of those responders who helped him in the immediate moments of that aftermath of being shot in his ear, they have been given a very special role coming up on Monday. And so this is going to be, we'll talk about that moving forward. But I was really touched by this, to see this. And once again, our great hero, Corey Comparator, will be once again honored in a new way by incoming President Trump. All of that. But first, let's get to what's happening now. And that's this morning, started within the past 33 minutes. And that is former Fox star. And he really was a star by all accounts, living his best life. And this is Pete Hegseth. And we've learned recently, within the past day, how much he made for a weekend gig, $4.5 million salary. So you learn about this life as a superstar, military background. I love the thank you for the Rocky. He is Rocky in many ways, Dan. Thanks for the background music from our great executive producer, Dan Borowski, our engineer, Jimmy Kelly. But let's get to it. As Pete Hegseth knew that this would be an uphill battle, but of course continues to be supported by the person who nominated him, Donald J. Trump. So here is a snippet of Pete Hegseth's opening remarks.
Yeah, no, opening remarks we don't have, Dawn, but we do have Senator Jack Reed. So it started off with the two senators going back and forth, the majority, then minority. And Senator Jack Reed really set the stage as to what we can expect today from the Democrats, Dawn. Take a listen.
Mr. Hegseth, I do not believe that you are qualified to meet the overwhelming demands of this job. We must acknowledge the concerning public reports against you. A variety of sources, including your own writings, implicate you with disregarding the laws of war, financial mismanagement, racist and sexist remarks about men and women in uniform, alcohol abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and other troubling issues. I have reviewed many of these allegations and find them extremely alarming. Indeed, the totality of your own writings and alleged conduct would disqualify any service member from holding any leadership position in the military, much less being confirmed as the Secretary of Defense.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, so
what a jerk.
It's actually, as we speak, Hegseth's doing his statement. So I'm going to back it up to where he starts, and we'll get that going. But give me 1 second for that, Dawn.
Okay. So in the meantime, and this is what they'll do. In other words, here's somebody who we never heard any of this, did we? That's what's always interesting to me. If this is such a bad dude who's a public person on the air, every weekend, but also during the week on a major network, you never heard any of this, did you? Until now. And so why is that? And they take these horrible shots at him. And yeah, it's like the old song, take your best shot. And that's part of this is Hegseth would not be here today on the hot seat if not for the support of the person who nominated him during these important Senate hearings.
All right, so we have Senator Roger Wicker now doing the standard questioning of Hegseth and Hegseth, some of his answers. Take a listen. This is happening just about a minute or two ago.
Engagements and responsibilities also, but thank you both for your testimony. At this point, Mr. Hegseth, I'm required to ask you as a nominee a series of questions that the committee asks all civilian nominees who appear before it. If you would, please simply respond in the affirmative or negative to each question. Have you adhered to applicable laws and regulations governing conflicts of interest?
Yes, sir.
Have you assumed any duties or taken any actions that would appear to presume the outcome of the confirmation process?
No, sir.
I'm going to fast forward it while they do these questions to where he starts to speak in depth.
From reprisal for their testimony or briefings.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So these are all the formalities.
So at this point, Mr.
Let's just take it live.
You are recognized for your opening statement.
Well, thank you, Chairman Wicker, Ranking Member Reed, and all the members of this committee for this opportunity.
A couple minutes behind by the start of the opening statement now.
I'm grateful for and have learned a great deal from this advise and consent process. Our founders knew what they were doing. Should I be confirmed, I look forward to working with this committee, senators from both parties, to secure our nation. I want to thank the former senator from Minnesota, Norm Coleman, for his mentorship and friendship in this process. And the incoming National Security Advisor, Congressman, and more importantly for our purposes, Colonel Mike Waltz for his powerful words. I'm grateful to them both. Thank you to my incredible wife, Jennifer, who has changed my life and been with me throughout this entire process. I love you, sweetheart, and I thank God for you. And as Jenny and I pray together every morning, all glory, regardless of the outcome, belongs to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. His grace and mercy abounds each day. May his will be done. Thank you to my father, Brian, and mother, Penny, as well as our entire family, including our 7 wonderful kids, Gunnar, Jackson, Peter Boone, Kensington, Luke, Rex. Sorry, it's a lot of them.
A lot of kids.
And Gwendolyn. Their future safety and security is in all of our hands. And to all the troops and veterans watching and here in the room, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, soldiers, pilots, sailors, Marines, Gold Stars, and more, too many friends to name. Officers, enlisted, black and white, young and old, men and women, all Americans, all warriors. This hearing is for you. Thank you for figuratively and literally having my back.
Is that a heckler? We have a heckler being escorted out by police, literally being carried out of the room during the opening statement.
I want to thank the authorities for their swift reaction to that outburst and state that similar interruptions will be treated in like manner. Mr. Hegseth, you may continue.
Well, as I'll say again, thank you for figuratively and literally having my back. I pledge to do the same for all of you. It's an honor to come before this committee today as President Donald Trump's nominee for the office of Secretary of Defense. 2 months ago, 77 million Americans gave President Trump a powerful mandate for change, to put America first, at home and abroad. I want to thank President Trump for his faith in me and his selfless leadership for our republic. The troops have no better commander-in-chief than Donald Trump. As I've said to many of you in private meetings, when President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense. He, like me, wants a Pentagon laser-focused on lethality, meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness.
Well, these are insurrectionists. I imagine they're going to go to prison for 17 years.
You may continue, sir.
Returning the Pentagon back to warfighting, that's it. That's my job.
Mr. Hegseth, suspend your remarks. Let me just say this. The Capitol Police are going to remove immediately individuals that are disrupting the hearing. I see a pattern attempted to be inflicted on the committee, and we're simply not going to tolerate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and John's right on the YouTube chat. They should announce you will go to jail, and we might be able to process you by Friday. You'll sit in jail.
Bring back warfighting if confirmed. I'm going to work with President Trump and this committee to, 1, restore the warrior ethos to the Pentagon and throughout our fighting force. In doing so, we will reestablish trust in our military, addressing the recruiting crisis, the retention crisis, and readiness crisis in our ranks.
Members of the security force will remove members. Mr. Hegseth, you may.
So it sounds like we have those hecklers,
our unity and our shared purpose.
And then supporters are trying to drown out the hecklers.
Number two, we're going to rebuild our military, always matching threats to capabilities. This includes reviving our defense industrial base, reforming the acquisitions process. As you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, no more valley of death for new defense companies, modernizing our nuclear triad, ensuring the Pentagon can pass an audit, and rapidly fielding emerging technologies. And number three, we're going to reestablish deterrence. First and foremost, we will defend our homeland, our borders, and our skies. Second, we will work with our partners and allies to deter aggression in the Indo-Pacific from the Communist Chinese. And finally, we will responsibly end wars to ensure that we prioritize our resources to reorient to larger threats. We can no longer count on reputational deterrence. We need real deterrence. The Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals, will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional. Unlike the current administration, politics should play no part in military matters. We are not Republicans. We are not Democrats. We are American warriors. Our standards will be high and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word. We need to make sure every warrior is fully qualified on their assigned weapons system, every pilot's fully qualified and current on the aircraft they are flying, and every general or flag officer is selected for leadership or promotion purely based on performance, readiness, and merit. Leaders at all levels will be held accountable, and warfighting and lethality and the readiness of the troops and their families will be our only focus. This has been my focus ever since I first put on the uniform as a young Army ROTC cadet at Princeton University in 2001. I joined the military because I love my country and felt an obligation to defend it. I served with incredible Americans in Guantanamo Bay, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and on the streets of Washington, D.C., many of which are with me here today. This includes enlisted soldiers I helped become American citizens, and Muslim allies I helped immigrate from Iraq and Afghanistan. Because when I took off the uniform, my mission never stopped. Now, it is true and has been acknowledged that I don't have a similar biography to defense secretaries of the last 30 years. But as President Trump also told me, we've repeatedly placed people atop the Pentagon with supposedly the right credentials, whether they are retired generals, academics, or defense contractor executives. And where has it gotten us? He believes, and I humbly agree, that it's time to give someone with dust on his boots the helm. A change agent, someone with no vested interest in certain companies or specific programs or approved narratives. My only special interest is the warfighter. Deterring wars, and if called upon, winning wars by ensuring our warriors never enter a fair fight. We let them win, and we bring them home. Like many of my generation, I've been there. I've led troops in combat. I've been on patrol for days. I've pulled the trigger down range, heard bullets whiz by, flex-cuffed insurgents, called in close air support, led medevacs, dodged IEDs, pulled out dead bodies, and knelt before a battlefield cross. This is not academic for me. This is my life. I led then, and I will lead now. Ask anyone who's ever worked for me or with me. I know what I don't know. My success as a leader, and I very much look forward to discussing my organization's successes at Vets for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America. I'm incredibly proud of the work that we've done. But my success as a leader has always been setting a clear vision, hiring people smarter and more capable than me, empowering them to succeed, holding everyone accountable, and driving toward clear metrics. Build the plan, work the plan, and then work harder than everyone else around you. I've sworn an oath to the Constitution before, and if confirmed, I will proudly do it again. This time, for the most important deployment of my life. I pledge to be a faithful partner to this committee, taking input and respecting oversight. We share the same goals: a ready, lethal military, the health and well-being of our troops, and a strong and secure America. Thank you for the time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr.
And so that
Hegseth.
is Pete Hegseth. So that's what I'm saying. You didn't miss a thing, because in the lead up, they spent about a half an hour where everybody gets their chance to speak. But this is President-elect Trump's nominee. He's first up for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who you probably know well from Fox News. And by the way, his military evaluations, which have been leaked, if you will, some different media reporting on this, that his military evaluations came back as, quote, incredibly talented, battle-proven leader. Those are some of the statements that were made, as now he is under incredible scrutiny. 44 years old, Army National Guard veteran, former Fox News host, obviously resigned when he took on this incredible deployment, as he said, to lead the Department of Defense. And so he's obviously going to face tough scrutiny from Democrats who want to rip into allegations or personal things that happened many years ago. But he is somebody who was deployed with the New Jersey National Guard to Guantanamo Bay, where he was leader of a 39-man air assault infantry rifle platoon capable of deploying anywhere within the world within 36 hours. That's among, his military service deployments to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So your thoughts, 855-839-1210. A lot of Trump news to get to, a lot of local news. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
You've got the whole season planned. Shopping list, the dinner parties, who's picking up who at the airport when someone asks, why is the heat not coming on? First you panic. You fill up a swear jar. Then you remember that Horizon Services commercial about their experts being there the same day for any problems and how they'll install a new HVAC system with no payments and 0% interest until 2025. Oh, you stop panicking and realize your swear jar will cover the Horizon visit. Book today at horizonservices.com.
Earn unlimited cash back up to 4% when you use your American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard for essential items such as groceries, gas, and purchases from pharmacies and home improvement stores. You'll earn 2% cash back on all other purchases, such as travel and dining. There's no limit on the amount of cash back you can earn, giving you more purchasing power for each transaction. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/cashback. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. Equal Opportunity Lender.
The Pro Football Playoff season is here, and there's one place to be. The BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Your home for wagertainment, giving you the sharpest insights and bringing on expert guest analysis.
From point spreads to props, live betting to futures, BetQL has you covered every step of the way with wall-to-wall coverage on the road to the championship in New Orleans.
Listen live on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM on the free Odyssey app and twitch.tv/BetQL or YouTube at Odyssey Sports.
What's better than bacon? Bacon on everything, of course. Add Hatfield bacon to every meal, from breakfast to dinner, for the perfect sizzling taste your family will love. With flavors like hardwood smoked, applewood smoked, maple brown sugar, and cuts from classic to extra thick, there's a Hatfield bacon for every recipe. Get inspired at simplyhatfield.com and discover new ways to enjoy your favorite bacon. Hatfield bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield and put pork on your fork.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So we'll monitor Pete Hegseth as he's taking in the questions, and there's a lot of back and forth and procedural stuff, so we'll whittle that down for you. Just to point out that you're hearing the voice, or if you're watching on YouTube, Senator Roger Wicker. Remember that he was the one who helped to oversee the Kavanaugh hearings and had talked about the allegations against then Kavanaugh, candidate for, and he was, Kavanaugh obviously is now a Supreme Court justice, but Senator Roger Wicker there calling it a smear tactic against the nominee and a real no-nonsense guy. So we'll move forward on that and bring you the highlights, the lowlights, etc. But there's a lot of news today. And get your thoughts, 855-839-1210. Caroline is not convinced. Hey, Caroline, what do you think so far about Pete?
I don't like any of his choices, and this Hegseth is totally unqualified. Besides being a drunk and abusing women, he was fired from various veterans organizations for misusing funds and not handling the funds well. Caroline, when you watched Fox News, was he drunk on Fox? Well, you would expect him not to be drunk there. So he's sobered up for the job. Yeah, I guess he's sober. Right. For the time being, he's sobered up, and it was truly a cringeworthy moment when he brought his mommy to work that day for her to vouch for his character after she wrote a letter saying how he should shape up and stop mistreating women. So he's going to be managing an organization of 3 million people and handling $800 billion in funds. Would you trust him to do that after he was fired from various veterans organizations for mishandling funds? I wouldn't. Would you? And then you're saying these protesters should be arrested? Did you ever read the Constitution where you're allowed to protest? No, well, you're not allowed to trespass into the Capitol and then that's where they are. You realize that's where they are. They're in the Senate chambers. The Capitol Police are there, and if you saw visually, Caroline, the Capitol Police are actually literally carrying the first gentleman. They carried him out. Yeah. But the Capitol Police there have said you're not allowed to do that because it's an official proceeding. And the Capitol Police said that I don't know that they'll be jailed. They'll be temporarily detained. They'll have to be processed. They'll face a fine. But the police have said that is it's a crime, and so they've said that they will enforce the law there inside the chambers to have they're inside. But thank you for the call. I do appreciate it, Caroline. Thanks for calling. And I always take your calls. I do. I will say this about anybody in the public eye, that they can say anything about you. This will all come out, as my grandma always said, it all comes out in the wash. So in this case, as far as Pete Hegseth, you have on one hand his Fox coworkers, first of all, his military background, that was part of what I had read to you, what his military record shows. And they've talked about, if you look at his, some of this has been released, his performance evaluations, outstanding leadership skills, etc. They've talked about how he had deployments to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Iraq, Afghanistan. And so the question is then that there was one or two allegations, but one in particular, where there was somebody who was at a bar with her boyfriend, went to bed. Then later when her boyfriend said, "What were you doing?" Then the story apparently came out that she was with Pete at the bar, maybe went up to her room with him or something. And so some of this stuff, I don't know how if there's not an official court record, it's he said, she said, but it just feels to me as if it's a smear. And the reason I say that is because you have incredible inconsistencies. In other words, you have his coworkers who've worked with him now for years, his bosses, others.
you remember at Fox, they've had some scandals. They had whistleblowers, if you will, and that rocked that company. But in this case, you don't hear that about his coworkers. They speak very highly of him, women, men, etc. And then when I look at his actual evaluation reports, outstanding performance, battle-proven leader, these are the things that you see here. It sounds like in his personal life, he went through a nasty divorce, and that's what Caroline referred to his mom. His mom did come out and said that during a very ugly divorce, that I guess there was some alcohol involved, getting liquored up, whatever. Mom wrote him an email, which I did blast that, because as a mom, really, like, I would not email my kid first and foremost, but you be you. But his mom came out and said that was a point in the divorce that she regrets that her email was released. It's, mothers and mothers-in-law should never get involved in their kids' divorces. I think it's a hard thing not to do, but that's what that was. So did he go through some ugly divorces? Yep. Did he obviously have some issues early on many years ago? Yep. But at this point, is that relevant? That's my question. Is it all of that in the past relevant? 855-839-1210. But this is what they do, and it's a smear tactic. So nobody is questioning his service. And in fact, in the media, the thing I notice most is that when he's described, particularly in broadcast media, locally and nationally, in the so-called mainstream media, they barely mention his military service.
Yeah.
And that's wrong. That's wrong. If you consider yourself a news person, you need to acknowledge the guy did serve, right? He served. And there is nothing in his military record, his work record, his employment record, his HR record, all of that stuff should be relevant, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have something in your actual employment record that would say that you're not fit, or your military record, that would be relevant. None of that is anything other than stellar.
Let me propose to you, Dawn, because if you're the Democrats here, then you want to lead with the heaviest hitting material, right? You don't bury the lead, as you often say in the world of news. You want to hear what they led with, the Democrats, in their line of questioning, Dawn?
Sure.
Take a listen. Here is Jack Reed, Senator Jack Reed.
Ms. Hegseth, you've written, and it's quote, "Oh yeah, and fire any general who hasn't carried water for Obama and Biden's extra constitution and agenda-driven transformation for our military. Clean house and start over. It's come to my attention that current serving military personnel have received emails threatening them with being fired for supporting the current DOD policies. One mail that was sent to a military officer with the subject line, clean house, reminiscent of your specific comment, states, and I quote, "With the incoming administration looking to remove disloyal, corrupt, traitorous, liberal officers such as yourself, we will certainly be putting your name into the list of those personnel to be removed. We know you support the woke DEI policies and will ensure you never again influence anyone in the future. You and the redacted spouse's name will be lucky if you're able to collect your military requirement," end quote. Now, I want to remind everyone
this is
that
Rhode
these
Island Senator
policies
Jack
that
Reed.
are being referred to date back decades, to the 1940s and 50s, with respect to racial discrimination particularly, and administrations of both parties, including the Trump administration and their first party, caused those policies to be enforced. Mr. Hegseth, are you aware of these emails being sent to officers?
Senator, you mentioned the word accountability, which is something we have not had for the last 4 years.
Are you aware of these messages being sent to officers?
Certainly I'm not aware of that. It's not one of my efforts, but there's been no accountability for the disaster of the withdrawal in Afghanistan. And that's precisely why we're here today.
Boom.
Is that leadership has been unwilling to take accountability. It's the time to restore that to our most senior ranks.
You've written publicly that DI policy is a distraction and have military personnel walking on eggshells. Do you believe that emails like that are essentially threatening both a serving officer and a spouse and claiming that they'll lose their pension will have a distraction and detract from the lethality?
That's their opening question.
Senator, you mentioned
And by the way, what
40s
the
and
heck-
50s, and you're precisely right.
What is he talking about? Whose emails?
Yeah.
Whose emails? What are these emails? Are these emails vetted? Like, what the heck,
These
dude?
quote leaked emails, yes.
So, you know.
And Pete just continues to own him if you want more, but it's your call. It's
Yeah,
good stuff.
let's hear the rest of Pete.
Was a forerunner in courageous racial integration in ways no other institutions were willing to do. I served with men and women of all backgrounds because of the courage of people decades and decades ago.
Mr.
Incredibly
Hegseth,
important.
please, do you mean-
However,
please,
the
do you-
DEI policies of today are not the same as what happened back then. They're dividing troops inside formations, causing commanders to walk on eggshells, not putting meritocracy first. That's the indictment that's made by those serving right now.
Excuse me.
And why we're having this
Excuse me.
conversation.
All of your public comments don't talk about meritocracy. They talk about liberal democratic efforts that are destroying the military, that those people are our enemies.
Well, what's the opposite,
That's not
Mr. Reed?
meritocracy. That's a political view. And your goal, as I see emerging, is to politicize the military in favor of your particular positions, which you've outlined extensively, which would be the worst blow to the professionalism of the United States military.
And by the way, this Senator Jack Reed has refused. He has been in the headlines himself, refusing to return donations that were quite controversial because he had taken tens of thousands of dollars in campaign donations from a a rich guy. And this was somebody who had investments in Rhode Island-based housing companies tied to thousands of substandard military housing units. So this guy has, it's kind of thick and rich that he's calling out somebody like Pete Hegseth. He has been accused in recent years of corruption himself, and in fact, taking money from somebody who was aligned with substandard military housing units and benefiting from that. So that's your Senator Jack Reed, the great Democrat from Rhode Island. I can't even understand half of what this guy's saying.
Does he even know what DEI is? Because he kept calling it DI.
DI. So I don't know. We'll get your thoughts, 855-839-1210, the number to call. You want to check in with, is it Kathy?
We got a break real quick.
No? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
We're way over.
Yep.
This is the Dawn Stensland Show at Dawn Stensland on X. We've got Melania. We've got Trump. We've got Whoopi. Oh, my goodness. We got so much. Carrie Underwood, more hearings, more nonsense. Be right back.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. Investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Are you worried about your roof handling the next storm?
At Emmons Roofing and Siding, we provide top quality roofing services that fit your budget and stand the test of time.
And our team of roofing experts ensures your home stays safe and dry with durable, reliable roofing solutions to any problems you may have. Plus, at Emmons, we offer free inspections and free estimates.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The breaking news of the moment. We'll get to local, we'll get to national, we'll get to Trump, we'll get to Melania. We'll get to more of what we're learning about the big day, inaugural day, when Trump is sworn in, all the pomp and circumstances, everybody who's performing. Looks like, by all accounts, a great day. By the way, a major shakeup at MSNBC. They have some announcements as to the failing network as Trump returns. So we'll talk about that as well. But want to get to this and your thoughts, 855-839-1210. My observation just from the point of the look of Pete Hegseth. So he's confident, he's unwavering. That's a good thing. He's somebody who not only has the media experience, but one of the reasons it's important to have the public vetting of somebody, you get to see how they react, how they handle these different questions. The fact that you had the senator from Rhode Island who was questioning Hegseth, and he immediately pivoted to, for example, Afghanistan and the incompetent withdrawal, that the disastrous, deadly withdrawal refers to Abbeygate. I think that was a huge moment and a show of what Hegseth is like, that he's not intimidated. And then as well, you did have these disruptions with people who are protesting right there inside and disrupting an official proceeding. That is a crime. We'll see if those individuals are charged, but Capitol Police immediately pouncing upon them and physically carrying some of them out as they appear to be fighting the Capitol Police officers. I believe that's a crime, too, to resist arrest. We'll see what charges those individuals face. 855-839-1210. Kathy and Bucks, you say what?
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Good.
Well, first, I want to say that, you know, you have to, I give Pete Hegseth a world of credit and appreciation for him serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's definitely someone that, you know, would have your back, and he's a true American. But as I said, you know, everybody has a past. If they want to go to anybody's past, they could pick something out and smear it on you if they wanted to. And instead of taking all the good points of this man and being able to put it into effect for this country, I just think is terrible. And I just wanted to mention about your last caller about, you know, having the protests, and it's, you know, our constitutional right to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a right to speak up, but there's also a right, there's not a right to destroy monuments and cause havoc and all of that. And they're the things that are created when things don't go the way certain people want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I can certainly see that will happen today. But I hope and pray that Pete Hegseth gets in. I think he'll do an incredible job, and we need more men like him to help Trump run this country.
Well, thanks, Kathy. I always appreciate I love your insights, and thanks for calling. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line, and I just always find it ironic when somebody calls in and says they have the right to protest, and they literally, are disrupting an official proceeding. And the same individual would not say that about those who walked into the Capitol building on January 6th, hours later, strolled in, maybe walked out, milled around for a few minutes, and left, never touched a thing, never touched anybody. Those individuals, many of them, are in jail. I'm just putting that out there to you to compare it, if you want to say a protest during an official proceeding, right? And so you have individuals in a packed room. I could see them. They were resisting arrest. And the one guy was a big guy. It took like half a dozen officers to subdue him, and they were literally carrying him. He was sideways as they're carrying him out of the room, and he's resisting arrest. And yet you won't see the media cover it in the same way. I'm just saying. As far as media, I'll just point this out to you. MSNBC President Rashida Jones, remember her? She left the company this morning, announcing her departure this morning to her staffers. Rashida is out of there. She's leaving the network after 4 years at the helm. So she's bye-bye. Bye-bye, Rashida. So we do see some of the networks making these necessary alignments. We have that going on, and we'll bring you the latest as far as other media realignments.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go like and subscribe. After this upcoming break, we'll show you video footage of that person being carried out of the room. Yeah.
And how many were there altogether? There was that guy, and then there was at least one other person, I believe.
I think there's 3 total.
3 total?
Yeah.
So we'll see, and we'll find out, because it's a packed room. It's an official proceeding, and so these individuals were not only yelling, but they were also resisting arrest. And so will they be charged appropriately? Do we have a bet on whether or not they'll be charged with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's never okay to assault a cop. So we'll take a quick break. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, it's Nick Cale. If you missed our Veteran Spotlight this month, you missed the story of United States Marine Corps veteran Gabe Rangel and how he is still serving our community with the Travis Manion Foundation. Check out the podcast or the video at 1210WPHT.com and click on our Veteran Spotlight. You'll be glad you did. It's all presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Attention 1210 future home sellers. Are you planning to sell your home in 2025? The housing market is changing fast. It's not what it used to be. Diane Cordano here from Cordano Realtors. And let me help you stay ahead of the shifting real estate market and how to increase the value of your home. Join me and special guest Dom Giordano for a free breakfast seminar on Saturday morning, February 1st at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. I'll show you how to tackle today's uncertain market with rising inventory and fluctuating interest rates. Low-cost ways to stage your home and meet modern buyer demands. Also, check out my insider strategies that helps homes sell faster and for more money. And you'll get a signed copy of my new book, Model Home Mindset. So do your research and get prepared when selling your home. Don't wing it. RSVP now. Call 215-576-8666, 215-576-8666, or visit 215-576-8666.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
So just checking out Truth Social and one Donald J. Trump, as he put 3 hours ago wished Pete Hegseth good luck. And then he also had another post where he talked about Gavin Newsom, where's the water? So he was ripping into the California governor about the wildfires and wishing Pete Hegseth good luck today, but showing his support for him. Earlier in the day, and actually it was overnight, Trump was, I don't know if he was up late or if he's up early or if he's just a late sleeper. I have no idea. But Trump ripping into Jack Smith, the not-so-special prosecutor who, of course, over the weekend announced his resignation, but kind of wanted to get in his last shiv. You know how Zioli always says, like, the last little shiv? And so I think this is a low blow, if you will, with Jack Smith releasing this one piece of his report. A judge did not block it, could have. And so in this case, we see that Jack Smith wrote in the report released by the Department of Justice that, in fact, Smith says, yeah, I could have, we had the goods, that Trump had tried to, obstruct the last 2020 election, basically. And so this is just, to me, it's low. It's low. Days before Trump is to return to the White House, days before, next Monday, the 20th, he'll take the oath of office and become the 47th president. 45 becomes 47th, focusing fresh attention, right, on all of the problems that we're facing. It's a 137-page document, and it's hopefully the final Justice Department chronicle of these alleged probes. I call them persecution. Smith, you may recall, I had reported this yesterday, resigning over the weekend on Sunday officially after completing those 2 investigations. They were going after him criminally. And he wrote the report, and then it was just transmitted to Congress in the wee hours of this morning. How convenient, right before, the Senate confirmation hearings. And so, Trump then put out statements that I had told you about this morning where he, what he called the failed prosecutor-persecutor. And in essence, I think it's aggravating, but I would just say don't even respond. That's just my personal feeling, but I know that's easy for me to say. But I feel like this was just a jab to say, haha, I'm releasing this report. Yes, we had the goods. Well, no, you didn't. The people have spoken, and Trump all but said that. So there it is. I've been reporting it all this morning, so sometimes I feel like it's redundant. But if you're just tuning in, thanks for being here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I'm Dawn Stensland, our executive producer, Dan Borowski. And we have, of course, Jimmy Kelly, our engineer. And we will be there next Monday. Hope you join us. And we'll be there from 6 o'clock in the morning, as you know. I hope you know by now. Through what? Are we there until 3 o'clock broadcasting
I think it's
live?
3. Yeah.
At the NAC?
Yeah.
So we hope you join us in Bucks County.
It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a fun day. Join us. Fantastic location. Amazing place.
Have you worked out at the Newtown Athletic
Have I worked
Club?
out there? Heck no, I wish. Have you seen that place?
So it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
How many swimming pools
There's
do they have?
there's a water park there.
It's a big old slide.
Yeah.
I love it. They have a great summer camp. Check them out.
Spa.
We'll have to do some squats together, a little personal training. So we'll have fun with it. And we're monitoring the latest with Pete Hegseth. But I just think to make sometimes there are a lot of procedural things. Everybody wants to make a statement, so we'll condense it for you, and you won't miss a thing, I promise. I want to get to, we'll talk about Inaugural Day because we're learning about the latest. Donald Trump's presidential inauguration events. By the way, Carrie Underwood, the left losing their minds because Carrie, who's a superstar, quite frankly, she's a bigger star than Taylor Swift in many ways. And she's saying that she's honored. She's humbled. She's honored to answer the call at a time when she says we must all come together in the spirit of unity. And looking to the future, that's her statement. She'll be singing America the Beautiful, and she'll be joined by the Armed Forces Choir as well as the U.S. Naval Academy Glee Club. So that from Carrie Underwood, but many are choosing, and you remember she was on American Idol. This dates back to my days as the Fox 10 o'clock news, back when we had the number one ratings, by the way.
Did you get to interview all those American Idol contestants as they were coming through?
I was on one of the American Idols I was on at the beginning of the show.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like you were on it?
They took us live because I was with the audience, and
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you meet like William Hung?
All those William Hung, be hung, but all those guys. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time for Fox. But she was the 2005 American Idol winner, if you recall.
Yeah,
and has gone on.
Maisie's obsessed with not only American Idol but all competition reality shows. It's a tough life to navigate.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So she's Lee Greenwood, obviously, some of the usuals, but the Village People. I was in the hall singing Macho Man to Jimmy Kelly, Greg Stocker.
You want to do that again?
Sure.
Yeah. Sing right now. Yeah, go ahead.
What, Macho Man?
Yeah. No,
Macho Man.
Oh gosh.
I'm singing to you, baby. So Carrie Underwood, she's getting ripped by the left. So if you have a chance to support her on social media, not that she needs any of our support. Look, she is rich. She is beautiful. And I think she's a conservative woman. And I think she's out of the closet. Ha! So there. I love it. I love when conservative women, especially, come out of the closet. It's like another angel earns their wings. I'm just saying.
I want to complain about, people complaining about Carrie Underwood, but I'm the quickest to complain about Bruce Springsteen when he does something for the Dems. So, I don't know. Can Carrie Underwood become the Republican Bruce Springsteen? That'd be awesome.
No, I mean, I think the statement she released was beautiful, and she's honored. Somebody asked her, I don't know who she knows. Is it somebody from Lee Greenwood's camp? You know what I'm saying? How does that all take place? I'd love to hear the backstory. But then, and I get defensive because you guys know since day one when I used to do my Melania imitation way back in the day on the Zioli show in 2015, I love Melania Trump. I've been a huge fan of hers from way back from when she had her QVC line in this region and had traveled here. So she had her Be Best initiative, and it was pretty cool. It was focusing on young people and their well-being, advocating against any kind of bullying, but especially cyberbullying. And so now she had released that she's going to continue to expand her Be Best program. People magazine, of all people, they had this headline that Melania Trump will return to, a headline that said her failed Be Best.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, really?
That's terrible.
So it's just another, because Larry, I don't know how these magazines show up at my house, but I know. Larry Bear, what are you doing, babe? So we get freaking People magazine.
They come up and try to sell them magazines. It's like, okay, all right, whatever. Just sign me up.
I imagine, Dan,
Home and Garden.
Yeah, it's probably something. We get that too. And I do not sign up for these. So I think he's signing up for probably something with like the Red Zone, and then you get something free, like, you know what I mean? And he just says, okay, fine.
Maybe he just has a very strong liking to these home magazines.
I don't know. No? They just are clutter. Usually I bring them into work here.
He's the one doing all, like the decorating around the house, right?
Right. Actually, Larry he and Stacia, my stepdaughter, very creative.
Yeah.
Actually, Lair Bear is a better decorator than I am. He actually has a creative.
I don't buy it.
He does. It's true.
I think you're just giving him a compliment.
I'm not. I would never do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he really does. He has a good decorating sense.
I have that. So Ainsley had Melania on, and that's where you're talking with the Be Best initiative. I do have the audio for that. You want that now? You want that after the break?
You know what? Let's. Where did the time go?
Yeah, we're running up.
I'm going to cancel my People magazine, Larry's People magazine, over the break. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
In water and see what flows.
If the cold weather has you thinking it's finally time to replace those old drafty windows and doors, then there's no better time than now to make your home more energy efficient while taking advantage of Guida's big winter sales event. My good friends at Guida Door and Window are extending their big winter sale through the month of January by offering 40% off every window and door you buy. That's right, 40% off every expertly installed energy-efficient replacement window, which also includes free high-performance low-E glass. And if you're in need of a new door, you'll get 40% off any door, including insulated entry doors, sliding patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can start your project with no money down and pay it off interest-free for up to 12 months. The offer is for a limited time only, so act quickly. If your home needs new windows and doors, call the experts at Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com.
Stop buying gold online. Edelman's Coins is the Philadelphia area's largest buyer and seller of gold and silver bullion. Family owned for 99 years, Edelman's Coins has continued to provide ultra-competitive pricing paired with unparalleled customer service. With transparent buy-sell spreads, you know you will always get a fair deal. When buying or selling bullion or coins, think Edelman's Coins. Call 215-572-6480 or visit edelmanscoins.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Chinatown business leaders want a say in reimagining Market East in a post-arena world. Authorities are looking for a group of pit bulls they believe attacked some people in Fairmount Park last week. And the book A.J. Brown was reading during the Eagles game is now #1 on Amazon's bestsellers list.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
So anything heated, we'll get right to and return to what's going on with Pete. The Senate confirmation hearings beginning for Trump's top cabinet picks. And it's not easy to be the first up, by the way. And so I will say this, what matters, and maybe you'll say, Dawn, this shouldn't matter, but his television experience on the network and speaking engagements pays off in a moment like this. because under fire, the fact that he's cool, he's calm, he's conversational, he's in control, all of that matters. And he's doing a very good job. I remember when he first started, and I didn't know who is this guy? And he's cute, I thought. He's like, he was very fit and stuff like that. But he was green as an on-air person. And that's where, Fox worked with him, and he really came into his own. And to be in this position for this huge job, and it is a huge job, and it's a huge responsibility. And so I would say to people on both sides that they should take it seriously, and they should not pander as much as they do. I can't stand that on either side. Ask the question, vet the person. That's what we all expect. And sometimes I think these senators and lawmakers on Capitol Hill, they forget they're working for us. They're vetting these people and their future potential jobs on behalf of the American people. That's the bottom line here. And I think sometimes they forget it. So I'm just going to give you a few headlines. Dan's monitoring this, and I think we may, in a second or two, Dan's going to get to some fiery exchanges. But we do have the LA fires update, and that is these fierce winds are whipping up and really threatening the firefighters' progress. 24 dead, dozens missing. One of the big headlines, a recall election or a recall of Governor Gavin Newsom. That's in the works. I know I reported some of this earlier, but then the other report is that there are lawsuits by residents in Los Angeles as they are making claims in court and putting out evidence that, in fact, the power company, Edison there, with some power lines, may have participated or contributed to the starting of these fires, or at least some of them. So that's one of the many allegations this morning as we think about what's going on out west. I reported earlier that in the Northeast, a 5-year-old little boy fighting for his life after this car accident. Mom was driving. She plows into, according to police, 3 other vehicles. This is in the Northeast, and very critical condition, fighting for his life. And we don't know the circumstances, but that's under police investigation. And they've been looking for witnesses and others to come forward if you know anything. And then the latest in Philadelphia as well. This morning, a 14-year-old boy arrested after a shootout in North Philadelphia. Police say this child fired back after being shot by somebody else in a Honda. So now we have a 14-year-old arrested after the shootout with the suspect in the vehicle. This is Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, as these suspects and victims become younger and younger. But in this case, one teen boy was shot and then arrested after police say he was involved in this exchange of gunfire. Sounds like the wild, wild west happened last night in North Philadelphia. So this is going on, and we hate to see these headlines. We'll get to the latest on Mayor Parker and the fallout as we're seeing it from yesterday's news conference, and we'll have more on that in a moment. And what about the Wanamaker building as Macy's prepares to move out in, and this is a huge move in Philadelphia symbolically as well. I think this is awesome if it happens, but what do you think will happen as far as all of that empty space in that beautiful historic building, the Wanamaker building, right in the shadow of City Hall? So we have a hint of what may be to come, and I think this would be popular, would be a good thing. We'll talk about all that. Dan Borowski, executive producer, looking at are you finding some fireworks, Dan?
Oh, yeah, there have been some fireworks, Dawn. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand versus Pete Hegseth, essentially saying to Pete, his comments are detrimental to the forces because women that are artillery members or LGBT members are being essentially disrespected by Pete. Take a listen.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Senator.
I have many concerns about your record and particularly your public statements because they are so hurtful to the men and women who are currently serving in the U.S. military, harmful to morale, harmful to good order and discipline. If you are saying that women shouldn't be serving in the military, and I'm going to read you your quotes because the quotes themselves are terrible. You will have to change how you see women to do this job well, and I don't know if you are capable of that. So I want to press on these issues that my colleague Jean Shaheen brought up because she said it so well. So first of all, you answered your questionnaire Do you believe that any American who wants to serve in their country in the military and can meet objective standards set by the military should be allowed to serve without limitation? You've said yes to that question. But then in all of these other circumstances, you've denigrated active duty service members. We have hundreds of women who are currently in the infantry, lethal members of our military serving in the infantry, but you degrade them. You say, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. So specific to Senator Cotton's question, because Senator Cotton was giving you layups to differentiate between different types of combat. And specifically, as Secretary, would you take any action to reinstitute the combat arms exclusion for female service members, knowing full well you have hundreds of women doing that job right now? And the standards, your 2 mile run, Tom, is about the Army Combat Fitness Test. It is not the requirements to have an MOS 11 Bravo, which is the infantry. These are the requirements today for people serving in the industry, men and women. They are gender neutral, and they are very difficult to meet. They have not been reduced in any way, and our combat units, our infantry is lethal. So please explain specifically, because you will be in charge of 3 million personnel. It is a big job. And when you make these public statements, and I get you were not Secretary of Defense then, I get you were on TV, I get you were helping veterans, I get it was a different job. But most recently, you said this in November of 2024, knowing full well you might have been named as Secretary of Defense. So please explain these types of statements, because they're brutal and they're mean and they disrespect men and women who are willing to die for this country.
Well, Senator, I appreciate your comments. And I would point out, I have never disparaged women serving in the military. I respect every single female service member that has put on the uniform, past and present. My critiques, Senator, recently and in the past, and from personal experience, have been instances where I've seen standards lowered, and you mentioned 11 Alpha, 11 Bravo, MOS, places in units, and the book that has been referenced multiple times here, The War on Warriors. I spent months talking to active duty service members, men and women, low ranks, high ranks, combat arms and not combat arms. And what each and every one of them told me, and which personal instances have shown me, is that in ways direct, indirect, overt, and subtle, standards have been changed inside infantry training units, ranger school, infantry battalions, to ensure that
Give me one example. Please give me an example. I get you're making these generalized statements.
Commanders meet quotas to have a certain number of female infantry officers or infantry enlisted, and that disparages those women
Commanders
who are
do not have to
capable
meet
of meeting
quotas
that
for the
standard.
infantry. Commanders do not have to have a quota for women in the infantry. That does not exist. It does not exist. And your statements are creating the impression that these exist, because they do not. There are not quotas. We want the most lethal force. But I'm telling you, having been here for 15 years, listening to testimony about men and women in combat and the type of operations that were successful.
He served, she never has. Manhattan
women were
lawyer.
essential for many of those units. When Ranger units went in to find where the terrorists hiding in Afghanistan or in Iraq, if they had a woman in the unit, they could go in, talk to the women in a village, say, where are the terrorists hiding? Where are the weapons hiding? And get crucial information to make sure that we can win that battle. So you cannot denigrate women in general, and your statements do that. We don't want women in the military, especially in combat. What a terrible statement. So please, do not deny that you've made those statements. You have. We take the responsibility of standards very seriously, and we will work with you. I'm equally distressed you would not meet with me before this hearing. We could have covered all of this.
I wouldn't meet with her.
Came here, so I could get to the 15 other questions that I want to get to. So women, you have denigrated. You have also denigrated members of the LGBTQ community. Did you know that when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in place, we lost so many.
Let me just remind you of who this woman is really quick. You know, she's a Manhattan. She lives in Manhattan with her husband. She is somebody who was a poster child for the Me Too movement. And remember, she was ripped when, on one hand, she demanded that, remember Al Franken? She was the lead person who neutered him. and he left in disgrace. But then when others came along, like Cuomo, she was silent on that one. She also has been somebody who her narrative is believe the victim, but the reason that she has been ripped by many is that she is somebody who presumes the guilt of somebody who's accused in the military. And so there was one proceeding, and I was looking this up. It was Air Force General John Hyten, and you can look it up for yourself. But the finding here was that the evidence was, first of all, the evidence showed that there were assault claims against him or sexual harassment. They lacked merit. And so the claims were thereby, being dismissed. She was somebody who was essentially saying a narrative, and she supported the narrative. She was at the height of the Me Too movement. And so the problem with all of that is that you have to be fair. You have to want justice. Of course, if things are happening within any work environment, particularly in the military, then you want to make sure that it's not run by a slanted political narrative. She is the queen of the slanted, biased political narrative that wanted to say, hey, if you're accused, boom, you must be guilty. And you can hear in her tone, she hates men. That's my, she's like one of those people. She hates men. Believe the woman no matter what. And I would say, I love men, I love women. If somebody makes a claim, investigate it. That's not what she's all about. She's all about the narrative.
Yeah.
I just want her to.
Two ways to go here. We can continue on with Gillibrand, or we can take a break.
I
think both.
Well, do you have? Did poor Pete get a word in edgewise? I mean, here's the problem that I have with these hearings, and that's why we want to truncate it. Is that, she's grandstanding, and she's not letting the guy get a word in edgewise. He's not. Here's the important piece of this. He is being respectful, because that's what you have to be, right? He's being respectful. He's keeping his cool. He's answering her questions. When she interrupts him, he lets her take her time because he knows that this is the gig. This is the drill, that you can't get triggered because the next person is going to be a Republican and they're going to let you talk more. And if there's something really egregious that she says, then because they go back and forth like ping pong, and you're like the ping pong ball. Okay, that's what happens here. So in the next one, if she says something like really crazy and egregious, the Republican will say, Pete Hegseth, I want to give you an opportunity to allow you to respond to the nut job who just made those just horrible false lies and allegations. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens here. So let's take a break. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-250-7807. 800-250-7807. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-250-7807.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to InvestorSchooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to InvestorSchooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's InvestorSchooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at InvestorSchooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to InvestorSchooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to InvestorSchooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Oh, this is good. You're going to love this. So this is Richard Blumenthal. Remember him? Now, just for a second here, remember, and I'm looking at Truth Social because Trump is having a field day on Truth Social. But remember that back in the day, and this goes all the way back to 2017, when Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat, made all those claims, right, about and Trump. He made claims against the Trump administration, and so at the time, Trump had put out on his Truth Social and he was on Twitter. Interesting to watch Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut talking about hoax Russian collusion when he was a phony Vietnam con artist. Never in U.S. history has anybody lied or defrauded voters like Senator Richard Blumenthal. He told stories about his Vietnam battles. Remember this. This is a guy who I can't even believe he's still in office after all of his lies. But and this is thick, as he's somebody who's proven to lie about his Vietnam, service and so on and so forth. All of that has come out. And now he's blasting somebody who actually did serve. This is Rich.
So weirdly, so it's Blumenthal starts questioning with economics because there's a bunch of social questioning leading up to that by the Democrats. But then it's talking about two organizations that Hegseth once was part of that didn't do financially too well, pulling some financial documents. But then it devolves into what sounds like almost like a sixth grade quiz for Pete Hegseth. Take a listen.
And focus to create policy that bettered the lives of veterans.
Mr. Hegseth, I'm asking you a very simple question. How many men and women currently serve in the United States Army?
Senator, the United States Army, 450,000 on active duty, sir.
And how many in the Navy?
And the Navy is 425, sir.
Well, it's 337 this year. How many in the Marine Corps?
175,000, sir.
172,300. Those numbers dwarf any experience you had by many multiples. I don't believe that you can tell this committee or the people of America that you are qualified to lead them. I would support you as the spokesperson for the Pentagon. I don't dispute your communication skills, but I believe that we are entitled to the facts here. I've asked for more documents. I assume you'd be willing to submit to an expanded FBI background check that interviews your colleagues, accountants, ex-wives, former spouses, sexual assault survivors, and others, and enable them to come forward.
He's had his
I'm not in charge
FBI.
of FBI background checks.
But you would submit to it, and
He's done them
support
already.
it.
He's done
I'm
them
not
already.
in charge of FBI background checks.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal.
But he's already done the FBI background checks. He's already done them. He's already submitted to all of that. And so that was just a sneaky little low blow. And so the question here, you always hope that the next Republican, and overall, you know that throughout the day, the Republicans will take care of that and say, you had some low blows. Let's clarify the record on such and such. Some are better than others at doing this. And so I get so annoyed when I watch all this stuff. But as far as Trump goes, he has been, Joni, Road Warrior just asked, did Joni come around? So
she's questioning right now. You want to take a
live?
live?
Yeah, let's listen.
And making sure that we have a clean audit. The second
Senator
is
Joni Ernst
women
speaking.
in combat, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And the third was maintaining high standards and making sure that we are combating sexual assault in the military. Okay, so Mr. Hegseth, I'm going to address the issue because this will tie into some of the financial concerns
She served as
that
Lieutenant
have been raised
Colonel,
here as
Iowa
well.
National
And it's
Guard.
why, I, trusting my fellow Iowan, asked for unanimous consent of his letter to go into the record. But like me, a lot of Iowans are really, really concerned and upset about the wasteful Washington spending and of course, in our Pentagon. It's an issue that I have been combating for years. So there's significant room for greater efficiency and cost cutting within the department. And the DOD is the only federal agency that has never passed an audit. As the Senate Doge Caucus chair and founder, that's unacceptable to me, and it should be unacceptable to you as well. So I appreciate that you mentioned that in your opening statement. What are those steps that you will take to ensuring the Pentagon has a clean audit by the year 2028?
Senator, I appreciate your work on this topic, which you've been involved in for a long time. You mentioned Concerned Veterans for America. I just want to clarify. We have very generous donors who set a very clear budget that we stuck to every single year. So the latitude there was restricted, and we worked very hard and diligently inside it. You've also been a leader on the Pentagon audit for a very long time. I think when we met, Senator, I said 2014 was the first year. Mm-hmm. We discovered a 2013 op-ed I wrote about the need for a Pentagon audit because an audit is an issue of national security and frankly, respect to American taxpayers who give $850 billion over to the Defense Department and expect that we know where that money goes. And if that money is going somewhere that doesn't add to tooth and instead goes to fat or tail, we need to know that. Or if it's wasted, we need to know that. So I think previous secretaries of defense, with all due respect, haven't necessarily emphasized the strategic prerogative of an audit. And myself, my deputy SecDef, and others already know that a Pentagon audit will be the comptroller, others central to ensuring we find those dollars that can be used elsewhere legally under the law inside the Pentagon. So you have my word, it will be a priority.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to women in combat. And I had the privilege of serving in uniform for over 23 years. Between our Army Reserves and our Iowa Army National Guard, did serve in Kuwait and missions
served 12 months in
Iraq.
Kuwait
and so
as commander.
It is incredibly important that
of her transportation
I
company,
stress,
and then also during the
I
Iraq
hope that
War.
if confirmed, you continue to stress that every man and woman has opportunity to serve their country in uniform and do so at any level, as long as they are meeting the standards that are set forward. And we talked about that in my office. I do believe in high standards. Now, I was denied the opportunity to serve in any combat role because I have a lot of gray hair. And the policy has changed since then, okay? So I've been around for quite a while. But for the young women that are out there now and can meet those standards, and again, I'll emphasize they should be very, very high standards. They must physically be able to achieve those standards so that they can complete their mission. But I want to know, again, let's make it very clear for everyone here today, As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity
to serve
in combat roles?
Senator, first of all, thank you for your service, as we discussed extensively as well.
It's my privilege.
And my answer is yes, exactly the way that you caveated it. Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high, and we'll have a review to ensure the standards have not been eroded in any one of these cases. That'll be part of one of the first things we do at the Pentagon, is reviewing that in a gender-neutral way, the standards, ensuring readiness and meritocracy is front and center. But absolutely, it would be the privilege of a lifetime to, if confirmed, to be the Secretary of Defense for all men and women in uniform who fight so heroic. They have so many other options. They decide to put their right hand up for our country, and it would be an honor to have a chance to lead them.
Thank you. And just very briefly, we only have less than a minute left, but we have also discussed this in my office. A priority of mine has been combating sexual assault in the military and making sure that all of our service members are treated with dignity and respect. This has been so important. Senator Gillibrand and I have worked on this, and we were able to get changes made to the Uniform Code of Military Justice to make sure that we have
Senator
improvements
Ernst
on how
she's
we
important,
address
obviously.
the tragic and life-altering issues of rape, sexual assault. It will demand time and attention from the Pentagon under your watch if you are confirmed. So as Secretary of Defense, will you appoint a senior level official dedicated to sexual assault prevention and response?
Senator, as we have discussed, yes, I will.
Okay, and my time has expired. Thank you for your answers.
Okay. So let me know how that was clutch, because I think what we're seeing there was she teed him up. He answered with the right yes. I'll do blah, blah, blah. So Senator Ernst, I think, is going to vote for. And I think they obviously met. They teed this up.
Was that last question by Joni, her essentially securing a spot there, working under Pete? She said, well, will you promise to, announce a senior official? And it's like, yes, we already discussed this.
Well, I think
will you announce me as a senior official?
Well, I mean, I just think the most important thing, because we didn't know, and that's why Road Warrior and some of you on social media were saying, what about Joni? How is, Senator Ernst? Because everybody didn't know for sure if she was a yes, but obviously they actually had the wording down. And so she's saying, would you do this? Would you have, you would appoint a senior member, blah, 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 in charge of, and so this is what she required to vote yes. So I think as long as he said yes to her little, properly, written statements, then she's a yes for his yes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that was critical because it's close.
I love that you keep reading the backgrounds of the questioning Democrats as we hear their questioning. You're, offering some perspective as to who they are. Now questioning is Mazie Hirono.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, isn't she the one that wanted to build the bridge to Hawaii, or was that AOC working with her or something like that?
She's definitely she's the lesser Mazie. I don't even, I hate that her name's Mazie.
I know, right? Me too.
There's the great, beautiful Mazie, who's Mrs. Borowski, and then there's this one over here.
Yeah.
We'll just call her M or something.
Thank you.
I am focused on your fitness to serve, including your character and temperament.
We could say the same thing about you,
qualifications to jobs.
Sorry.
Very true. Very true.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, is that a snort there?
Sorry, you got to snort. You got to snort out of me. I know this stuff. See, that's why I can't watch too much of it. I have to just go back to news, because it makes me crazy, some of these, because there are such hypocrites.
Yeah.
And you look at their career, their political career and all their all I do is whichever Democrat is up, I just go to DuckDuckGo and I go like so-and-so scandal, and then 25 things pop up.
Well,
and you can read all about their.
Mazie did respond to you. She says,
to do the job. And I do appreciate the comments of Ranking Member
Dawn Stensland.
I love it. We'll continue on. Your calls, 855-839-1210 on this windy, cold, wintry day where, my goodness, we're still at 28 degrees. Yesterday felt so good, but we're in the deep freeze until this weekend. If you went online and bought Eagles tickets and you got them, you're so lucky, and I envy you. The tickets went on sale. Eagles Rams, 3 p.m. Sunday. Tickets just went on sale today at 10. So
Go
lucky
Birds.
you. I know. It's so exciting. I bought the biggest book on Amazon, the favorite book of a Philadelphia Eagle. We'll talk about that moving forward. Can I talk about my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles? They're featuring the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. These models, they're gorgeous models. Sleek, new designs, innovative features, powered by the very latest in technology. And Piazza right now has thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles. They're available right now across Piazza's Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey dealerships. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit them, piazzapremiumautos.com, Piazza, piazzapremiumautos.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
An Arctic air mass returns to the Delaware Valley today. We'll have sunshine and clouds. It'll be windy with a high 33, but feeling much colder with the wind. Tonight, cold and windy, partly cloudy, low near 20, but wind chill values in the single digits. Another cold and windy day on Wednesday, partly sunny with a high 33.
Got a roofing problem? Don't let it ruin your day.
Emmons Roofing and Siding offers professional roofing services, from repairs to complete lifetime warranted replacements.
And you can trust our experienced team to keep your home safe and secure. And we can even handle insurance claims for you.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
From your kitchen table to our airwaves, the Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
What place was Billy Mitchell talking about? And let me give you a hint, it wasn't Greenland.
I believe he was talking about the great state of Alaska.
He was talking about the great state of Alaska.
What is this, Jeopardy? Is this like Pete Hegseth goes on Jeopardy? It's like trivia time between all these guys?
Yeah, that was Dan Sullivan, senator from Alaska, asking if Pete Hegseth recognized Alaska. Yeah. Fun times there over on Capitol Hill, especially right after Mazie Hirono just got done questioning whether or not straight up asking these types of questions.
As part of my responsibility as a member of this committee to ensure the fitness of all nominees to come before any of the
Has she been
committees on which
drinking?
I sit, I ask the following two initial questions. First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
Senator, I was falsely accused in October of 2017. It was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared.
I don't think completely cleared is accurate, but the fact is that your own lawyer said that you entered into an NDA and paid a person who accused you of raping her a sum of money to make sure that she did not file a complaint. Moving on. As secretary, you will be in charge of maintaining good order and discipline by enforcing the Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ. In addition to the sexual assault allegations, and by the way, the answer to my second question should have been yes. I have read multiple reports
so now she's answering for the person.
Being drunk at work.
Oh,
She sounds drunk at work.
With your Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
And for senators?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the
contradictory
job
to the dozens
is
of men and women
not
at Fox News
contemplated
Channel
I'm
who
not
I work
hearing-
with
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they've
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth, you commit to holding leaders accountable at all levels. That includes you, of course.
Doesn't she sound liquored? Am I wrong? He should say, Senator, I should be asking you that. You sound a little slurry. Maybe a little wine for breakfast or something.
Frankly, as secretary, you will be on the job 24/7. You recently promised some of my Republican colleagues that you stopped drinking and won't drink if confirmed, correct?
Absolutely.
Will you resign as Secretary of Defense if you drink on the job,
Ooh, we should
which
give him a-
is a 24/7 position?
I've made this commitment on behalf of
Will
the
you
men and women I'm
resign as
serving.
Secretary of Defense
I've
if
made this
you
commitment
drink
on
on the
behalf
job?
of the men and women I'm serving
I'm not
because it's the
hearing-
most important deployment
I'm not
of my
hearing an
life.
answer to my question, so I'm going to move on.
You want to keep going?
No. She's just a loser. Let me look at what Trump makes me. This is where he makes me laugh out loud because Trump on Truth Social. Sometimes I'm afraid to look, but it's like so good because he just rips into all these people. But you know that he's watching right now, and I would love, and it would be the top show ever if they actually could have a camera in with Trump right now watching. Like, can you imagine if I got, like, Dan, what if we got the chance, like, we're live with the president-elect watching these hearings and and then play on a side screen showing Trump talking about just ripping into these individuals. Because it's like this, some of these people, they're not fit to serve in their job. They can't even speak properly. And I'm really being serious here. They cannot speak clearly. I don't know what her deal is in some of these people. And then you have Blumenthal. What a disgrace. And they're questioning him. At least the guy's a military veteran. It's just an irony to me. I'm just saying.
You're right on point. I mean,
it would not be easy just think about this. It's easy to sit here as a Monday morning quarterback and say, oh, so-and-so answered well. But it's not easy to sit there for hours and hours and hours and have these idiots who are incompetent just basically throw mud in your face. And so part of the vetting process is look at, if you have no volume on and you could see him, he's cool, he's calm, he's respectful. He's not being triggered. He doesn't take any bait. And he did right when he just kept speaking, because you are allowed as, during these hearings, if you're asked a question, you are allowed to answer the question. And that's what he did. He was allowed. He kept talking. But that's not easy to do. He makes it look easy, and he comes across, he has moments where he's relaxed, he's smiling, he's cordial. All of that matters to the look. In my opinion, you can let me know, 855-839-1210. I think he gets this nomination. I wasn't sure this morning. I really wasn't sure how it would go. I think the moment with Joni Ernst that we played live for you, I think she's important because she's known to work across the aisle. And she mentioned that she had worked with Senator Gillibrand, who just wouldn't shut up and was just blah, 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 blah. But the truth is that he answered the questions properly with Joni Ernst, who's respected for her military service. And she was one who they were watching as a holdout. And I think she's going to vote yes.
More from Senator Sullivan. Take a listen.
And I appreciate that. The other thing President Biden did, his first executive order as president, was to focus on transgender surgeries for active duty troops. This is all I'm describing the woke military here under Biden over the last 4 years. If confirmed and you issue an order saying we are going to rip the Biden woke yoke off the neck of our military and focus on lethality and warfighting, how do you think the troops will react?
Senator, I know the troops will rejoice.
They will love it.
They will love it. And we've already seen it in recruiting numbers. There's already been a surge since President Trump won the election of recruiting. The Army says
do you think our military will follow that order?
Our military will follow that order, Senator. Gladly, because they want to focus on lethality and warfighting and get all the woke, political prerogative, politically correct, social justice, political stuff out of the military.
So that was Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan, by the way, and he's an attorney. He's a junior, I believe he's a junior senator from Alaska. So teeing up some nice answers from Pete Hegseth as they have a back and forth. 855-839-1210. Do you think that Pete Hegseth, do you think that he will get confirmed? To me, I think he's doing, well. I would say so far so good. 855-839-1210. We'll be right back.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The working families of La Una Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit DKAppliances.com. If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
Well, now, ripping into Pete Hegseth is, he was stronger together with Hillary Clinton, not so much, and they kind of sunk together.
Right, Tim?
I haven't heard Tim Kaine, Virginia senator. I looked at his, he's had his own controversies, but why no one seems to be talking about Tim Kaine anymore? That was one headline in 2019. He just sort of died on the vine.
Yeah, he did.
But before I take your calls, just to get you a little more fired up, Dan has a little treat for you. Here is Virginia Senator Tim Kaine.
Very unkempt looking Tim Kaine, by the way.
His hair looks like he just rolled out of bed.
And he just took the glasses off his forehead that were sitting there for over an hour.
And he's unkempt and all fired up. And this is the thing, making some horrible allegations. I mean, any normal person, you'd want to throw something at the guy. It's a sin, Dan.
Mr. Kaine.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth. I'm looking forward to this opportunity to talk. I want to return to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct? I believe so. And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime. That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth. And she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and you
good for
cheated
you.
on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges. Well, it was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage I have to this amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything...
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
Again,
how do you explain your judgment?
Completely false charges against me. You fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
Disgusting line of questioning.
That was a false claim.
So you
talking about a hypothetical.
So you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense? Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim. But you acknowledge that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman
He just wants to repeatedly say cheated on your wife or how many, marriages, blah, 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 blah. That's the whole goal here, right? Is to smear somebody. And I loved that Pete Hegseth said the name of his, little child who's now 7. 855-839-1210. Sal, what do you make of this? Do you think it's fair?
I'd like to say hello, Dawn, and thanks for taking my call. I'd like to cite the hypocrisy of the left about the peaceful transfer of power. Think about what's going on now to 4 years ago when we had rowdiness by some foolish people, but perhaps our government weaponized mostly against the people. And I think about now from the complete undermining of the incoming administration, from the nonsense in Ukraine and sending missiles into Russia and the spending like the drunken sailors and letting people out of jail, convicted of espionage as Chinese nationals, all the way to the way they're now, just getting sound bites as opposed to genuine vetting of candidates for such important positions. It's nothing more than just a freak show, and I think it's shameful and disgusting. And to dare say anybody that we did not have a transfer of power that was peaceful 4 years ago, well, this is much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just nasty. It's personal. And by the way, Cain himself, he knows what it's like to be accused. He was accused of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment by a challenger in the past, denied it. And so it's really ugly, but there's nothing here as far as the having to do with the job. It's just, back in the day, this, that, and the other. So it's all personal jabs.
Oh, absolutely. And forget if they use that standard that people had out of wedlock relations or cheating on people, then everyone in Congress will probably be disqualified for their jobs as well. Give me a break.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. The one thing I would say about that, I will note in Congress in general, they don't seem to have an HR department. And I really would love to see if they just had an HR, human relations, actual standards, and they actually have to get vetted by that HR department. That would be I would be giddy to see that with these individuals. Man,
sorry about that.
Fired me up. We had, there's so much other news of the day that I hope you're somebody who listens since early in the morning because there's so much happening and so much developing. One of my favorite stories of the day, though, was something that I learned about Monday and the inauguration, and that is that our first responders who were right there in Butler, Pennsylvania, in Butler County, Pennsylvania, who helped and ran to the rescue, if you will, and they're going to lead off the inaugural on next Monday. I think that's a beautiful thing. Isn't that awesome?
That's great.
Pennsylvania, Corey Comparator, who died, and his daughter had said, nobody's going to know my dad's name. Well, I guarantee you President Trump will make sure that Corey Comparator, our great hero who was killed that day, during a failed assassination attempt against Trump, Mr. Comparator will be remembered by Trump. And remember Charlie Strange, our friend who was on yesterday. Many of the Gold Star families, Pete Hegseth knows they're right there with him. And he has their back. They have his. That's a beautiful thing. Let's get to Dom Giordano. Hey, Dom.
Hey, Dawn. Kirsten Gillibrand is the wildest today. And Tim Kaine cares about sex outside of marriage suddenly from Virginia. Go back to the Cat in the Hat. That's who that guy is, if you remember that.
Probably wearing a hat today.
Yeah,
his hair's pretty bad.
We have Scott Jennings coming by, the man of 1,000 faces from CNN at 2 o'clock.
Nice. A great Dom show just ahead.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month.